Hello everybody, my name is Vero, this is Vero Reads, and today I will be sharing with you 10 short books that you can read before the end of the year to reach your reading goals. I know that a lot of people care a lot about the number of books that they want to read in a year, whether that's because they want to build a reading habit or because they just love competition with themselves and with others, or just because that's a good measure to see if you're, dedicating enough time to this wonderful hobby that is reading. Even though I don't participate, I am happy to help if you need short books to get you to that goal. Okay, let's start straight away. I think the first ever published in this pile, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It's October. If you've never read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, please read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It is as good as everybody says. If somebody's saying that it's not good, it's because they haven't read it. There's the new Frankenstein movie coming out. Maybe you want to read it in preparation for that to see if it exceeds expectations or not. I'm so worried about that movie, man. I'm so worried because I love Frankenstein so much. And I don't particularly like Jacob Elordi, but I love Oscar Isaacs and Guillermo del Toro. So, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see if my expectations are met. But enough about the movie. The book is great because it is fun, first and foremost. It's very different than the stereotypical idea we have of the Frankenstein mythos. Like the Frankenstein story and everything. There's so many themes packed in such a short book. It talks about science and the issues with science. You can kind of make a conversation going about the ethics of pushing technology further, pushing science further, just for the sake of it, which, it's very topical. There's also a big reflection on the nature of man, if man is born evil or good, if it's nature versus nurture. It talks a lot about parenthood as well, and about the sins of the father, and about, is it fair to blame the child for the sins of the father, and when does that line stop mattering? Because at a certain point, if you're 35 years old, you cannot blame your dad, but that's still who shaped you. Your parents are still who shaped you. Your society is still who shaped you. So it's and also it's so much fun. And also it starts so wildly compared to where then it will go. It's a great representation of like that, like Gothic Victorian literature. Very atmospheric, very spooky. So I highly recommend it, and short. Then after that, I think chronologically we have Passing by Nella Larsen. Why is nobody, in my sphere at least, talking about this book? Like, just as a, please read this book. The fucking plot twist at the end. Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, this book is amazing, it deals with race dynamics and like womanhood and the exploration of the society that shapes the woman and blah 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 blah. And then nobody mentions the plot. That's fucking crazy. Please read this book, because I need other people to go into it not knowing what happens and then leaving knowing what happens. It's also an amazingly well-written book about the psychology of people at a really specific time. I should probably mention the plot, because it's not like Frankenstein. I don't know if everybody has read it. Basically, Passing talks about these two women. They are both white passing. They use their white passing privilege very differently. One is still a strong member of her black community. She's a leader in black community. She's a wife, a mother, like an organizer. She is she has a lot of ties to her family, friendships, and community. The other one, it has fully abandoned her past within the black community to be a white passing wife to a white man that she knows is really, really racist, and she doesn't know what he would do if he found out that she's not actually white. Because at the time of racial segregation, it would be, life threatening for him to find this out. But they knew each other in their youth, and they meet each other again when they're older, when they're grown women, and there is a strong tension between them because of childhood dynamics, because of racial dynamics, because of the sisterhood that they know they have, but also that they resent a bit. The protagonist in this book has a narrative voice that's incredibly fascinating, incredibly realistic. You want to hear what she has to say, even though you don't know if she's right or wrong. And even though it's kind of like listening to a friend that you thought had their feet strongly put on the ground, and then you're like, oh, you have some issues. Okay, I don't know if I can help you with that. So this is incredibly well written. It's an incredible story. And the ending, I want everybody, each and every one of you that's watching this video, to go read this book and then comment on this video, what the heck, the ending. And also tell me how you interpret the ending, because I don't, the people that have read it with me, we're still debating. We still don't know exactly what happened. I have a clear idea of what happened, but it could be confusing. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. After that, I think I have this. This is Olivia by Dorothy Stratchey. This is... Okay, the plot is there's this young girl that's sent to a French finishing school for young ladies. Of course, it's an old women's school. I think this is set in the 50s or the 40s. And... or maybe even before that. Anyway, it is the story of this young girl being completely surrounded by girls and women, and kind of starting to see how she fits in terms of girlhood and womanhood. And also she starts to develop obsessions and feelings towards all of the other women that are now present in her life. And it's just a great sapphic story. It's so relatable in terms of that feeling of you don't even have, it's inconceivable to you that two women could be in love with each other and kiss. But also you wanna be really, really close to a girl, and you wanna put your mouth on her mouth. But that's just weird. Why would anybody do that? I guess you like her really much. I guess she's your best friend. So this is the vibe of this book. It's incredibly well written, really, really, really short, and it's just really validating. It's just really reassuring, because this was written in the 40s, 50s, and you're like, okay, they were going through it then as well. So I highly recommend it. It's also like it's a school novella, so it really feels nice to read in autumn. Highly recommend. I say highly recommend it to each and everyone, but you know. Then I think the other one is, I have, because I don't want to edit this video, I'm gonna use props. The other one I have is Animal Farm. I hope you can see it. Animal Farm by George Orwell. It's a fairy tale, kind of, a fable, that talks about this farm where a bunch of the animals are being mistreated by their farmer, their owner, and so they create they rebel and have a revolution to depose the farmer. It is a allegory of the Soviet Union during and post World War II. And why should you read this book? Because it's so relevant and it's so topical to today that it's scary. I did this with my short classics book club, and the conversations we've had were amazing, and everybody was like, and you know, it's kind of like today, right? And you know, like if you read the news from yesterday, that they said kind of that thing. So if this is a great time to appreciate great literature and also learn from great literature, because one thing that I really love about Animal Farm is that it boils down big, daunting mechanisms of politics and society. Because it's a fable, because you have pigs and horses and dogs and donkeys instead of nations and important figureheads of state, you can see the dynamics much more clearly, and you can put yourself in the shoes of this group of people or ideology or political movement in a very direct and simple and concise way, and say, this sounds wrong, or why did that go wrong when it started out so well. It does not read like a political like a dense non-fiction book. It is a story, it is a fable, and also like read it even just because it's so freaking masterful, the way you can take something that's so big and just in, like, I want to say 90 pages, condense it into a children's story, because this could be a children's story. And yes, so like I highly recommend it. I need to find a new catchphrase, man. But yeah, so we have Animal Farm. Then in terms of time, I think we have The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tey. I've been on a journey the past couple of years with mysteries, murder mysteries, crime novels. I don't know if I like murder mysteries. I think I like them, like in theory. What I don't like is what I think they're called fair play crime books, where basically you are meant to, it's kind of like a Myrtle, right? Kind of like a puzzle where it, like Cluedo, you have time, people, weapon, and then you need to put it together and be like, it was that guy. I don't like that. I like crime stories. So I like where the story is more important than the puzzle, than the mystery to be solved. And this book is that. So this is a very weird, it is a crime novel, it is a mystery novel. It's just really, really weird because it talks about this detective. I don't even remember his name, but it talks about this detective that is stuck in a hospital bed. He has a broken leg. He cannot move. He needs to stay there and just recuperate, and can barely, you know, move himself about. And so one of his friends brings him just a few cards with famous paintings on them. And one of them is the figure of a guy, I think it is this portrait, but it might be another one, of a famous guy. And he's like, I like, in his eyes, I see something very weird. He could be a judge or an assassin, like one or the two, and both at the same time. And so he gets really curious. He turns around to see who is the man in the picture, and it's Richard the Third. Richard III famously was for a long time accused of having killed his nephews, I think, in order to get maintain the throne. So it's a mystery that's in the Tudor era. It's never been solved. It's never, like, it's impossible to say for certain what happened at that time. But in this book, we see this detective just enjoying the mystery, just enjoying finding resources, asking for help from experts, and just like trying to figure out the psychology of the people involved based on historical texts. There's the concept of Tony Pandy that comes out, and that's the best term that I've learned in such a long time. And if you read this book, you'll know the term as well. And if you enjoy mysteries, and historical fiction and all that, I would really recommend this book. This is a bit niche, probably. I don't know if everybody would like it, but it is such a cool way of weaving a story based on things that are not, just basic and immediate. And it's just a really great experimental way of writing a crime stories, which I really, really, really loved. And now I want to read more by Josephine, because she has a whole, she also does regular detective novels, but this was absolutely amazing. So I'll go with, listen, it's autumn, it's spooky season, read some Kingfisher. Anything by Kingfisher, you're good. She writes really, really short books in a variety of genre, but they're all pretty spooky. I have here Nettle and Bone, which is very gruesome, very psychological, very fantastical, mystical, fable-like, and very short. Perfect for a cozy Sunday afternoon that's a bit gloomy. I love that. One thing that Kingfisher is really good with is characters that you care about them. You do want to see them succeed because they're so nice and flawed and great, and they find each other and they're lovely, So anything by Kingfisher, you're doing good. And most of them are 200, max 300 pages. So you can pick whatever. Another one is this. This is Universality by Natasha Brown. This just came out 2020, this year. I read it, I want to say February, March, and I'm still thinking about it. I still don't know what I read. I still am so, this is so impressive. Such an impressive way of writing a story. It's not a satisfying read because it's not a linear story. It's very, I think there's a theme here. If you like exploring the medium of storytelling in a very experimental way, you would really like this book. It gets you in the psychology and in the impulses of the people of Britain of this time, which is not always a good time. like being in the mind of the average British person, like right now, is not great. But it's so fascinating. It is so fascinating. And the way the story is woven, and the techniques used to showcase all these different points of views of these very different but quite similar people is masterfully done. Absolutely masterfully done. I know that a lot of people have heard this talked about already because it came out this year and it was amazing. It was sensational. I think it was nominated for a bunch of stuff. But if you haven't picked it out yet, do it. It is, again, really, really short. You can read it in like an afternoon, I think. It's 150 pages, and it will leave you with more questions than answers, but in a really nice way. It's kind of like, this feels like talking to a really, really smart person, and you're just hanging on everything that they're saying, but understanding like 70% of what they're saying. At least that's what it felt to me. So, highly recommended. There you go. Then I have this, also 2025, The Eyes of Gaza by Plestia Alaqad. There are a lot of books that talk about the situation in Gaza at the moment, and all the different political ramifications and the historical intricacies of this genocide. But this tells you about the life of this person, this real person, a journalist that was there when the escalation started to happen 2 years ago, and how she had to live with it day to day, and how she felt living through it and then surviving it, which is something that is inherently, really amazing, but also devastating for somebody who has had to leave their whole home country to be destroyed and to be killed off slowly, one day after the other. We should be just incredibly lucky that we have the opportunity of listening to her tell her story, and of participating in, trying to solve this decades old conflict. Please read it. It's really short. It's like, again, 150 pages, and this will be read in schools in like 10 years from now, but it is important that we read it now, in order to make have it happen faster. It's gonna happen. Palestine will be free, but we really need to, end this as soon as possible. And this is one way. There's many other. There's some links in the description where you can help. But yes, read this, get informed. Also, there's plenty other books I would recommend. Minor Detail. I would recommend Monstrous Anger of the Guns. I think that's the title. I'll put them below. But there's also good books on top of that one. Then I forgot this. This came out, I think, 2023. Yes. So we have this. This is The Unfortunates by J.K. Chukwu. I will never shut up about this book. That was a proof copy, and this is the one of the final covers. I will never ever shut up about this book, because it's so amazingly written. It talks about this girl that's in a college in the, I think, 2010s, 2012s or something like that, in an American university, and that has to deal with the violence that the academic world asks of its students, especially its black students in this specific university. Also, disabled students, queer students. Like, it really deals with how the disenfranchised are even more marginalized and oppressed in an academic setting than in, just a less structured world. And we have this girl that is also, check content warning. It deals with self-harm and suicide, eating disorders. So I would check the content warnings before going in blind. It talks about this girl that's, I think, in her sophomore or junior year, and has decided to, at the end of her school year, commit suicide. It is, but she's doing it in such a way that's very punchy, careless, carefree, which is usually like it masks all the heavy issues that she has. And the way it is written is it in the form of, this is her final dissertation. She's decided to write her final dissertation and then commit suicide. And her final dissertation is a mixed media one. So it reads kind of like a diary, kind of like a project, like a school project. I love, again, experimental novels, experimental way of writing. I don't remember how it's called, this type of writing. The same as like House of Leaves or Elemenopy, like, love that. That's ink, and it is really fascinating. It's like it is well written from a writing point of view, and experimenting with the medium of novel writing, but also the characters feel very real, and it showcases a time of life where you're at your worst and at your prime, but at the same time you cannot do anything about your environment, but also you are independent technically. So it really showcases very well that dynamic between becoming an adult. You're supposed to be an adult, but also you have control over nothing. And that's really incredibly well written. It's also really funny. It's also really funny at times in a very, dark humor, because it's the nature of the overall story. But it is like the main protagonist is so charismatic and charming and vulnerable, whilst still being very closed off to us and to the people around her. But it's really, really great. I will never shut up about this book. It's perfect to read now because it's a back to school. It's technically dark academia. Like, this is one of the, one day I will make a video ranting about dark academia. But if we see dark academia in terms of themes and not aesthetic, this is one of the few actual dark academia books that I've ever read. If it doesn't have the aesthetic of the tweed and the brogues and the tiny glasses that other dark academia books have, but it has the themes, and they are explored here way better than in like The Secret History or Catabasis or any other big dark academia ones. So I would really, really recommend. Last but definitely not least is Clear by Carys Davies. This book, amazing. Okay, so the premises of this book are already incredibly compelling. It talks about I think the 1840s, in a tiny island off the coast of Scotland. That's it, in the 1840s. And there's this man that's the last one left in this island because the landlords are coming, they're buying up everything, and living independently is impossible. So all his family has to move away because they cannot afford to stay there any longer because they're too isolated. They speak their own language. Nobody else in the world is able to speak what they are speaking, and they just need to open up to the rest of the world and move somewhere else, or they will die off, basically. But he stays because that's his island, that's his language, that's his world, and he doesn't want to explore the rest of the world because he has a cow and he has sheep and he has the sea. But then comes I think a priest, a reverend somewhere, that's just a poor guy that's been sent by a landlord to communicate to this man that he needs to leave. They want to get rid of everybody in these remote islands, just leave the sheep to be on their own, and then get the sheep's wool when they're ready. Basically, they want to evict everybody from those lands. And this guy, this priest, is literally a nobody. He just got married. He needs some money because he needs to, provide for his wife that he loves immensely. And he really doesn't want to do this, but he also knows that he would not be able to provide for his wife if he doesn't do this. These are the premises. And also, he's a linguist. He's a translator. But he doesn't know the language that this guy talks. But he gets there and they are not able to communicate with each other. And a bunch of other stuff happens. And this book is amazing. It's a love letter to language. It's a love letter to communication in the most human, social, primal way. Communication for the sake of connection. And it's beautiful. Also, such a woke book. It's one of the most woke books that I've read. I didn't know going in that it was going to be very woke. I was there for the language bit, and it's so satisfying. It's such a great book. It packs so much into just a few pages, and new classic. This will be a classic. If it's not, it's because people don't know what they're talking about. Because this is amazingly written. Please, everybody, read this. I beg you. I need more people to read this so it gets reprinted and it gets, people keep talking about it and it will stand the test of time. But yeah, clear. Highly recommended. But that's it. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope that this helped you find a new read. I hope that you reach your reading goals. Good luck with that. I believe in you. And even if you don't, remember, it doesn't matter. As long as you're reading, But I also know that people care. So I'm there to help you out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.